Hello viewers, welcome back to the Moose Mobile Auto Repair channel, and today we're working on a 2017 Ford F-150 with the 3.5 liter EcoBoost engine. And today the customer has requested that they wanted me to replace the headlamp assemblies with brand new ones. They purchased some aftermarket headlamp assemblies, and so they wanted me to replace them with these ones. Now the new Ford assemblies are roughly maybe $1,200 or $1,300 each, or something like that. And I've already replaced the driver's side off camera over here, and now I'm going to do the passenger side. So as you can see, I've already replaced the driver's side over here, and now I'm going to be doing the passenger side. The customer wanted to replace them because they wanted to upgrade to a different style headlamp assembly. So I'm just going to show you the process on how to remove and reinstall the new one. These are aftermarket assemblies, so it's a bit tricky to line up in some cases, but all in all, the driver's side, it went in pretty easy afterwards. And so now I'm going to get started on the job. So I'm just giving you guys a close-up on the new assemblies, and that one is the new one, and this one is the old one. So the first thing you need to do is to remove the two 7mm bolts, and then there's a trim clip in the back here. Over here there's a trim clip, but we're going to remove the bolts first. So remove the two bolts. So there's the clips here. There's one clip here and one clip here, but you don't need to remove the entire trim off. You just need to remove this one to give you just enough room to get it out. So we're going to carefully remove the trim clip. Once you have that part, you can just carefully pull back on this. There are clips being held down on this side, so just leave it out like this. You don't need to take the whole thing out. And the yellow clip at the very end, we will need to take this off and transfer it over to the inside here. I'll show you after, towards the end of the video. So once that's done, you can pull back on this. And you can see the entire trim assembly comes off to expose the bolts here for the plastic. So what's next? You need to remove the two 10mm bolts that's holding the headlamp assembly in place. So now then you need to remove the 6 10mm bolts that's holding this plastic assembly, and then there's one, I believe it's an 8mm bolt. So there are 6 10mm bolts, 3 on the side and 3 here, and then there's an 8mm right here. So a total of 7 bolts. So we are going to switch over to an 8mm socket. And then now we are going to switch back to the 10. So once you have removed all of the bolts, you should be able to get this out. There are some tabs at the bottom in which you need to release on this. And there are some tabs on the sides here too, which you need to push down carefully. Being careful to not damage the body panels or the paint or anything. There is one trim clip that I forgot to take off. It's right here, so we need to take that out. This one looks like it's already damaged, so we probably have to force to break it off. So this clip, it was already damaged, so I will need to replace it. So this whole plastic assembly, you should be able to take it out after, but there are a couple of tabs at the bottom here in which it needs to be released in order to get these in order to get this out. So if you pull back on the plastic, you see the tab here, you need to push them out of the way in order to release it, so you can push the plastic assembly. There's 2 of them, one here and one over here on the side, one over here. You need to push inwards in order to release the tab, and the other one as well. The other one in the back here. You can use a screwdriver or something. I'm just using a trim tool. It doesn't really matter. So in the corner here, you'll need to push you need to push out to release the clip, and there are some tabs here as well that you need to push down on. And this will just be loose after you get it out. There's this the prong or the clip, which you need to use a little bit of force to get it out. Don't be scared, you won't break anything, because this clip is what holds this in place in the corner here. So you need to push firmly, to pull firmly out. So that's that for this piece. So we are going to leave that on the side. And what's next is there are, I believe, 3 bolts here. There are 2 large 13 millimeter bolts, the top and bottom, and 1 small 10 millimeter bolt that's in the middle. So we are going to remove the 13 millimeter bolts. There's one on top and there's one at the bottom. You can use a magnet to grab the bolt if you want as you are taking it out. Now we are going to switch over to the 10 millimeter, which is over here. I'm just using a 3/8 drive, a long extension and half extension together, and a 10 millimeter shallow socket. You can use a deep socket or whatever you want. So once you're done the entire assembly, you should be able to pull it out. There's one piece prong that stays inside the hole here, so you need to carefully to push it out, and you should be able to take the entire assembly out. Just take note that you need to disconnect the wiring harnesses connectors to get everything out. So you need to disconnect the connectors. And then after, we have to transfer over the bulbs and stuff. Move this out of the way. The holder. And then everything just comes out just like that. On the other side, I had some aftermarket stuff in wiring, which I don't have to deal with over here on this side. If you look over here on the driver's side, you can see the aftermarket stuff here for some lights, I think, that light up here. So I had to put like a zip tie to hold the wiring and stuff, because that's the way it was before for the old one. So the customer has some aftermarket stuff on this truck. So anyhow, so right now I have to transfer over all of the bulbs from the old one to the new one. And so the bulbs in here, there are some aftermarket LED bulbs that I need to transfer over to here. So we're going to flip this over. And we're going to start transferring everything. I'm not going to show this because this is going to be very boring. I just wanted to show the main part for the headlamp assembly and how to unmount it and install it back. These are just like any regular bulbs. Some bulbs are the normal bulbs, other bulbs have the aftermarket LED stuff here. So I'm going to transfer all of this stuff off camera, and then I'll show you the installation afterwards. It's just the reverse of a removal. So now we are ready to install the new assembly. I transferred all of the bulbs over, so now we just need to plug in the connectors. So just make sure that the silver, the metal piece lines up inside the hole on where the fender piece is. I don't know if you guys can see that on camera. So you gotta make sure that it lines up where the black part is up here. So we're going to line this up now. So once you have that, the silver piece in, you should hear it snap into place, and just make sure that there's no gap here, and that's how you know that it's in properly. And before we put everything all back together, we are going to test the headlights first, and just make sure that everything works. So just make sure that everything works with the lights. And just make sure that everything is working with these lights before you install everything back. There's also a bulb that's in here too, so just make sure everything is working before you reinstall everything back. So we are going to install the 2 bolts on top. We are not going to tighten anything down yet. We're just going to start these bolts by hand first. Now, because this aftermarket headlamp assembly has a stud that sticks out a bit too much, and so you might have some difficulty in trying to line these up. So you may have to get somebody to hold the assembly in place, so you're able to put the bolts in. So now we are going to install the 10 millimeter bolt. What I like to do is to use a piece of blue shop towel over the socket and bolt, so that it does not drop. And so I'm just going to start it by hand first. So I'm just going to start the bolt by hand first. And I believe that I did not even have to remove the 13 millimeter bolt in the first place. I think that's bolted onto the bracket, onto the bracket from under the hood. I don't even think that needs to be taken off. we're just going to start that a few threads or so to get them inside the hole. So what I did is I sprayed a little bit of WD-40 on the rusted bolts, and on these bolts as well, just to make installation easier. You can spray any kind of rust proofing spray or penetrating oil or something to make it easier. If you have a wire wheel or a bench grinder, you can grind down the rust off of the threads from the rusty bolts. So now we are going to install the 13mm bolts. You can use the shop towel trick if you want, so you don't drop the bolts. And once again, I don't think the 13mm bolts have to be taken off on this one. You just need to remove the 10mm bolt. So we are going to tighten everything up. We're going to switch over to a 10mm socket. Tighten this up now. You just want to be careful to not over tighten the bolt. So we're just having a look here earlier, and I found out that the 13mm bolts do not need to be removed on this one. It's only the 10mm bolt that's holding it down there on the plastic. So you can leave the 13mm bolts alone. Tighten up these bolts now. Just be careful to not over tighten these, because it will break the plastic. So what's left now is to reinstall the plastic piece. You need to make sure that you line up the two tabs inside here, and that you install this piece at the very end of the fender. You may need to put your hand here to move this up and down on the side of on where the wheel is. Make sure that's all lined up. Alternatively, you can use a flathead screwdriver of some sort to push the tabs in, which will make it a little bit easier. And now I just need to line this up and push it into place. Just make sure it's in properly on this side. Install the bolts. The 8 mil bolt goes right here, and the rest of the 10 mil they go over here. There's a total of 7. There's one 8 millimeter bolt here, and 6 of the 10 millimeter bolts everywhere else. So now just reinstall the trim piece. Just make sure that everything lines up inside here. Make sure it's not the outside. The piece has to stay inside the assembly here. So everything just clips into place easily, and then afterwards we are just going to wipe the fingerprints and everything down. So for the yellow piece here, we need to take it out and transfer it onto the back here, because there's no way to clip the trim back into place. So we're gonna grab a trim tool carefully and pop it out. So pop that out and reinstall that onto this trim piece here, so that you're able to pop this back inside easily. This piece just came out, so just push it back in and you should be able to install this just like so now. So everything is all popped into place with the clips, and we just need to reinstall the 2 7mm bolts inside the fender and the trim clips here. There was one clip underneath here, but I don't have a replacement at the moment, so we are just going to leave that for now. But we're going to install the one clip here and the 2 7mm bolts. So install the 7mm bolts into place. And just install this plastic clip into there, and then you should be all good to go after that. So after you are done, you may need to adjust the beam for the headlamp. The adjustment is right here. I think it's an 8 millimeter or 10 millimeter, I think. So the adjustment is here if you need to adjust it, but I'm not going to be showing that in this video. Anyhow, I'll just make sure everything works, and that's going to be it. So that's it for this one. That's going to conclude this video for the replacement of the headlamp assembly on this 2017 Ford F-150. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you're not already a subscriber, and please don't forget to hit that bell notification if you haven't done so. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day and take care.